Why is it a surprise to you? Oh,
Just
I'm angry.
The fuck off.
I'm angry.
You surprise me every day, Raz.
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. My name is Chris Bratt.
I don't even know what that was. Is that going to be the intro?
Sure, why not?
Fair enough.
Dave, you've come in here. This
angry.
podcast is late because of you.
Excuse me.
You've been swanning around somewhere outside of the office.
We can talk about where I went.
Where have you been, Dave?
Went to Sony.
You delayed
Did you
this
go and
podcast to go and see
The
Sony.
new God of War?
No.
No, okay.
I wanted to say yes, but no, I haven't.
What hit title have you been?
I've not even been to see a game.
PlayStation 5?
Well,
Yeah,
they are probably hoping this
Right.
could be as popular as what a PlayStation 5
the Vita
would
2?
be. It's not the Vita 2.
Okay, I'm struggling
What
to
is it
think
then?
what it could
What could
be.
it be?
It's a device that is in popular demand.
Mm-hmm.
The one, the only, PlayStation TV.
Crikey.
Now, that is what it's called now, right? Because it used to
Yeah.
be Vita TV.
It is the Vita TV in America,
Japan
right?
or something.
Yeah, I mean, shall we introduce everyone else and then come back to this? Or
Sure,
shall we
we've
just carry on?
got Tom Murray over there. Hello, Tom.
Do I get an
Right.
intro? Do I get written down an intro for me?
I did notice something this morning, actually. Your Twitter bio, which is an important part of the job,
Yeah.
hasn't been updated since your new position.
I don't care, Bratters. Who
But you-
clicks that apart from you?
Because you've changed your name on Twitter to Friend of Bratters in
Yeah.
some kind of
That's a
hilarious
lie.
dig at myself, and you haven't changed that. I just thought it was unusual, that was all. And we've got Brett Thips quarantined in the corner over
Been
there.
checking
Yeah.
out his Twitter profile as well. What's it say on
His
there?
is up to date.
Yeah?
It's
about
oh
Dave's?
no, yours ends with and skinny. I remember
Which
that.
I am.
Yeah.
Why are you
very
looking at
skinny.
everyone's profiles
This week.
for?
What's wrong with that? Hang on. What's wrong with
Are you E-pervin?
You say it like it's a thing.
Dave's has been updated. Yeah.
More
I'll
importantly,
give him that.
Bratters, why are you wearing a coat that looks like your mum bought it for you so you could grow into it?
Oh man, you know I like this coat as well.
Yeah, but
You didn't at first, though, because
Yeah,
it came with a woman's belt.
It did come with a woman's belt. It came with a belt that wasn't advertised in the original photograph, which I'd based the purchase on.
You put it on, you put your belt on, and you were looking for people to go, that looks lovely. and it never came. It never
Nice
came. And he thought, shit, what if I take the belt off?
And
Maybe
it's
that'll
suddenly
work.
transformed.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that was a rough.
But you look lovely.
rough time. Thank you very much. It's supposed to be quite big. It's it's a big winter coat. That's all.
Yeah, but it doesn't look. It just doesn't look. It looks like quite a thin, small coat. But on you, it just hangs like it's about 2 sizes too big.
I might have to put and skinny at the end of my Twitter bio. Maybe that's what we've learnt.
Anyway.
Yeah, where were we? PlayStation TV, which that is. I'm pretty sure that is just the name in Europe.
It's
Yeah.
out
TV.
now. When's it out? Over
I think it's next week.
Next week.
14th, maybe.
Already been out in the States for a little while.
I think,
Yep.
and Japan since the beginning of time. Yeah, I mean, it looks all right. I mean, they're kind
it's
of...
very small.
It is tiny.
I was
It's tiny.
surprised at how small it was.
Yeah. They're kind of selling it as a box for PS4 owners to stream, or essentially it's a remote play box. So you can play the game in the living room, and then you can go to your bedroom where you can continue playing your PlayStation 4 games. But
Sure.
does anyone want to do that?
Voice announcer gig. there.
Outside of the streaming, you can install Vita games on there, right? Or how's that work?
Yeah, so you can play your Vita games, although it is restricted. So there's a slot.
Is there
sure.
like a memory stick slot in
There's
there?
a memory stick slot. And I thought there was a Vita
There must be a
game
game
memory.
slot,
Vita
surely.
Yeah,
game
I thought
slot,
there was
but-
two. I thought there was like a memory stick and a Vita
Dunno.
game.
But I
Yeah,
can't
that would
place it now on the
that
box.
would certainly make sense, right? You'd be able to easily.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a way for you to play your Vita games on TV as well, if you want to do that.
I'd say that the streaming side of it does sound. It sounds good though, right? Surely some people are going to have a use for that if you have a kind
I
of
could
a living room
understand
console.
it. Say, I can understand it maybe if you're a kid. And you've
Yeah.
got, maybe
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
the PlayStation set up in the living room where the big TV is, and you like playing it there, but often
Yep.
your parents would go, "We're watching Downton Abbey," and he goes, "Oh, that's for old people."
It's not true.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then he'll go and Dad
Won a
will
Golden
go,
Globe in 2011.
Go
Tom.
upstairs because we're watching this undeserved Golden Globe winning
Nice.
program,
You beat me there.
and
Lady
go
Sybil.
upstairs and continue it in your bedroom.
Brad is shaking his head.
Yeah,
But I don't know about like the average. Maybe I think kids maybe, but if it works,
But then, yes, I agree. Yeah, I think kids market, but it's 85 quid. I don't know if parents would
Bloody
think
hell.
I can spend 85 quid on that, or
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's still
and there's all
considerably
sorts of
cheaper than another console, isn't
But
it?
then surely, like, how much is a Vita now? I mean, it'd probably be worth them just getting them a Vita, which they can then remote play on that.
yeah, maybe.
If they don't have a Vita, that is, of
Although
course, for the
Vita,
kid.
I mean, this does have benefits like controller wise
Yeah, you can play
and
with
screen wise. You've got
play
a
with
bigger screen, but
DualShock 3 or 4, right?
yeah.
You want a 4, get a 4. Go on, treat yourself.
Although presumably, can you play PS4 games with a PS3 controller? Probably not, I guess.
Yeah, I'd assume
Oh,
not.
that's interesting, actually. Yeah, I don't have a clue because
assume not.
I thought it was just Vita games with PS3 controller and then PS4 with
Well,
PS4.
why would that ever be a thing that you'd need to do?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
If you've got the PlayStation 4 already, what's happened to your controller?
Maybe your parents don't let the controller out of the living room.
This is a very, I don't know why we. Yeah, that is
Keep
a very
it under lock
specific
and key.
example.
Like it's a Argos pen or something.
You mentioned the fact that you might struggle there because of the touchpad on the PlayStation 4. That's the thing with this entire concept, right? Because some of the Vita
Touchpad?
games.
What do you mean?
The-
Can you use the touchpad as a replacement for the touch screen?
I don't
think you can.
so,
No, but some
no.
use front and back touch, don't they, on Vita games?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, though. Some of the Vita games that do have back touch capabilities aren't supported with this PlayStation TV, right?
There's a way they tried to demo it to us, but I still haven't wrapped my head around it because we only saw like a 10-minute demo, and we've got one here to take away. We'll probably do something on it,
Yeah.
maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know. But there's a way that you can push in the analog sticks on a DualShock,
Right.
which then let you. I think they act as if you're pushing the touch screen. I don't know quite how it works.
Oh, we'll have to
Of
mess
course.
around with
I
that.
think it lets you switch between standard like analog stick control, and you push them in, and then suddenly you're in touchscreen control.
Right.
But I don't know quite how that works.
Yeah.
Dave, are you telling me that I can't play Little Deviants? On
You are a little
the
deviant.
PlayStation TV.
I don't know.
My favourite of all the Vita.
You're asking me all
games.
these questions if I know all the answers, and probably should do, but unfortunately, I
Yeah,
don't.
because Little Deviants makes lots of use of the rear touchpad
Yeah, well,
to move the ball around.
Right.
I'm sure. Like devs could figure a way to make it work with this with PlayStation TV. It's whether or not it's worth them doing that in the first
Yeah.
place.
I didn't even realise it had been out in America for a month.
Yeah.
Like, it shows how much
I think
they
the
kind
bigger
of pushed
issue,
it.
which I think you found out today, Dave, is that there's no real streaming apart from the service like Sony's store.
Yeah, so there's Sony's Video Unlimited, but Netflix, for example, you can't stream Netflix from your PS4 through to your PlayStation TV in another room
And you can't use the Vita
What, how
app
come?
either.
What?
because it's licensing restrictions. Apparently, that
Oh, that's a shame.
in theory, they used the words in theory. PlayStation TV would allow for that to happen, but it's the video providers' restrictions basically that.
Yeah, because that would
they
be. I'm
can't.
trying to figure out kind of the people this is going to be talking to. That I guess people that travel.
Well, I asked that question.
People that travel, right? So that if they
Yeah.
can take it with them.
Yeah, but if you're going to travel, I still think because when I went on holiday recently, I took Chromecast with me
Right.
because I used my phone, hooked it up, plugged it into the TV, get all my streaming stuff
Sure.
on the TV. Whereas this doesn't have any of the streaming stuff I'd use. Doesn't have Netflix because the app on the Vita doesn't work on on PlayStation TV.
Yeah, it's not working.
Doesn't have, as far as I know, like Sky Now TV, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I doubt it has does it have iPlayer and stuff? I don't know. Probably not. So
It's just literally just the box.
I mean, if you
And
want,
the
if
other
you want a
thing-
portable gaming device, I guess it's useful.
The other
Yeah,
thing,
I mean-
I don't even think it's an option because I think, from what they were saying, I got the impression that it had to be connected to a home network. So the same network that you're on PlayStation 4 is also connected to. So I don't think you could
Oh, right.
take it away with you and then control your PS4.
Oh, I
from-
thought it was like kind of the same idea behind remote.
I mean,
play.
it's possible, but the way that they worded it this morning suggested that wasn't the case. I mean, we'll have to test it out, I guess.
Do we know about PlayStation Now? Does it work with PlayStation Now?
It
It isn't launched yet over here, has
yes,
it? It does.
It does,
So that,
apparently.
I mean, if that ever takes off in any meaningful way, it might be good.
But not SharePlay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
at least.
Well, I got the impression not SharePlay at all because it's essentially acting as remote play and it can't do remote play and SharePlay at the same time.
All right.
Right. Okay.
But then I don't know how that...
So SharePlay would have to be changed to work across devices that aren't PS4s for it to work.
Yeah, essentially the PS4 is acting as a host to the PlayStation TV. I guess it can't then act as a host to another user as well.
You know what? Maybe we have stumbled upon the bigger problem then. The fact that you've been to Sony this morning and you're struggling to
Yeah.
figure out exactly what this device is.
Yeah.
How
It's all very
do
complicated.
you market that to?
Well, I asked this on Twitter earlier. I was like, because they were saying it's primarily for PS4 owners and not for people perhaps that would pick up like a Fire TV or an Android sort of TV box. I mean, those got, maybe you would be interested in that. I don't know, but that's not their primary audience. It's like, but who actually who owns a PS4 is interested in having this
Yeah.
as it is. Well, who is the market really?
Yeah, considering they're marketing the PS4 at core gamers, then this sort of is incongruous to that market anyway, because it's not like you need to find another way to play your PS4 anyway, because the core gamer would have their PS4 set up in their room or in the living room, and they would be...
And there are the usual restrictions, like it's 720p.
Yeah. That seems to be,
I think it's going to be 30 frames restriction as well.
seems to be the kind of standard with the
For
streaming.
the streaming stuff. You know,
Stuff
there's no workaround for that. You know, that's just the limitation of the tech.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, would a hardcore gamer who wants to see their games in the best possible light be happy streaming that into another room? I don't know. Or would they rather just
move the PS4.
Yeah, exactly.
Just move the PS4. If you can't use it on another
depends how
network...
good it is. Like, if it was 720p and it was lag-free, if it was lag-free, and it was like, either I drag my PS4 around the house, or I can just quickly go and play it for like half an hour in another room, because if the TV's being used, maybe.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be like good. Like the service, it has to be like 720p, not super blocky, low res. And the lag, it has to be like basically non-existent.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like it feels a little bit too expensive for what it actually is.
It's like a wasted endeavour, really, considering all the caveats and the things it can't do, which you feel like is the purpose of it. You know, and like you said, was it 84 quid? You said
85 quid.
85.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a lot for what it can't do. You know, you like to say you can get an
Was
Amazon
it come with a
Fire.
memory card or not? Like a
It's
gig
got
or
a gig
something?
built in. I asked about that as well. Like, will this encourage like you to actually? Because you can't find 32 gig Vita cards.
I mean,
The 64 isn't even out.
32 isn't even enough, like, really.
Yeah.
Like, because you could get a PS Plus membership, presumably, and get all, like, Vita games are quite regular on PS Plus. You get two a month, and it's served it quite well, I think, PlayStation Plus and Vita. But if you don't have a bigger memory card, it's pointless. Like, and they're expensive. I don't know how much a 16 gig is, but
Well, you're not going to get much on a gig, are you?
Yeah.
No.
And being a PS4 owner, you're going to have Plus. If it's targeted at that market, you're going to have Plus. So therefore, you're going to have a lot of Vita games.
Yeah, it's a weird little box. Feels like they could do a lot more with it than they maybe are. But
It must have been, when they first designed it, something else. And they thought, oh, hang on a minute, we need to find a cranny
I
for this
remember
to
there
go.
being a bit of buzz around it when they first announced it for Japan. But now looking back on it, I can't think what the buzz was
Yeah,
for.
what was it?
I think a lot of people
I
are
guess
still
was the-
hoping for, like, PlayStation Now is going to turn it into something like, if PlayStation Now takes off and is say PlayStation Now eventually was a 10 or say £6 a month Netflix level,
Yeah.
and you had access to loads of older games, and it was £6 a month, and it worked well on this box, you'd have a 80 quid box that played all, like, a large portion of Sony's older games. That sounds like it's a better idea, but PlayStation Now hasn't actually launched over here yet properly. At least I don't know if it's in.
And even
beta
where it
over
has
here.
launched, it hasn't got that model.
And yeah, the games are limited and it's expensive. So
Yeah, and I guess people were hoping it to be a little bit more portable than it perhaps sounds.
And the thing
Well,
is, like,
it's
if it-
portable as a Vita gaming box.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's just not portable as a PlayStation 4
But so
streaming
is
box.
the Vita. If you,
Yeah.
I think I'd probably be a bit more interested in it if it played PS3 games. I think some people probably would. Like, they've upgraded from PS3 to PS4. Maybe they've got rid of their PS3 games, but they might have some digital. I don't know. But if this was a little box that would
man, imagine that.
play their old games,
put that tiny little box next to the gigantic beast that is the PlayStation 3 as well.
yeah.
It actually would. I'd like
That's
that
how
more.
you sell it, right?
Because for example, I've got really only room in my bedroom for like a PS4. I could possibly fit something else in there, but I'd have to rearrange some stuff. And there's all these PS3 games I get in PS Plus every month that I haven't touched because I haven't got a PS3 set up.
Yeah.
Whereas this would be perfect for playing that kind of stuff if it was a PS3 in a box, but it's not.
Yeah, well, we'll have a mess around with it, I guess.
We'll have a look, yeah.
See what happens. I
Just feels like a bit of a confused box at the moment.
doesn't really know what it is. Neither do we.
Poor little box. It does
Oh.
look nice, though. It's quite nicely designed.
Yeah,
It is tiny.
You will go, wow, that's quite small.
You know what? It looks like a tiny little, either a tiny Elgato.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the Elgato.
Yeah.
That's which is cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's something. We're not entirely sure what it is, but
Yeah.
it is. Something.
It looks nice
Yeah,
for
it's a
85
thing.
quid.
but it is small. We can confirm that it is quite small.
What are we talking about now?
Video games,
Right.
in general.
Excellent.
Anyone got any video games we want to talk about? I think
Loads of games.
Yeah, loads.
Dave, you've been playing all sorts. Like you've been,
Have I?
Yeah, you were going home with Pez last night.
I was.
You were
Did you play PES
talking
last
about
night?
I played
Advanced
one, mate.
Warfare.
One
I played
game.
2 matches.
Yeah. Is this a discussion to have on air or off air?
We can talk about PES a little bit.
Can we?
Well, I can't talk about it in like the final sense because Burns has done previews for months. I'm not sure I like it as much as Burns. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm going to say as well.
Isn't that just a general rule for Evolution, though?
For people that like PES, and I like Burns, because I assume someone out there is similar to Burns, but not many people.
You say, yeah, but I loved PES 6.
Yeah, but this is
very
different to PES 6.
How long ago was PES 6 though?
PES 6 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember all those sort of 360 tracking websites that showed you what you'd been playing? I think it's like 360 Voice or something.
Yeah.
Like PES 6 is my most played game on that.
Really?
Yeah.
What, on the console? Or you mean on the tracking website?
In terms of how many days I played it on over the time that I've had my 360,
PES 6
is the one.
The problem I have with PES outside of the game, which we'll let Burns talk about more reviews, like it's out on the 14th, isn't it? So you can expect a review.
Is it? I don't know.
Soon.
I thought it was the week after.
I think it's the 14th, isn't it? I think.
No idea.
It's either the 14th or the 21st, and the review will be similar around that time. But menu-wise, like they made a big deal about how it's all been redone. It looks, I guess, a bit more like FIFA and stuff. It's kind of a bit slicker.
Yeah.
But it also isn't. It still feels like it was like they gave the whole menu design to like the intern or something. And it feels the same clunky, like you turn it on, it does all these tests and establishes connections to things, then goes, there's a file to download from here, you have to manually go and do it, and then it's not available, and then you have to do it again. It's just like, the whole thing feels like it needs like...
Isn't FIFA a bit like that now? Or at least when you
slick
when you first boot it up, there's so I remember.
I don't think you ever have to go and manually find something in a menu somewhere. It's like
it doesn't actually exist.
It tells you.
FIFA's a lot more accessible because you've got that you've got two menus at once. Where you've got like the scroll bar at the top, which lets you get to.
That's what this has got.
Subsection.
It's got like a scroll bar at the top, and then it's got menu. It's got options within each one. So it is quite a lot like FIFA, but it just doesn't. It still has these horrible square pop-up boxes.
It's got the Konami clunk.
Yeah, but it does have, and it's got like proper licensed music. It's got like "Wake Me Up." Do you remember that song, Bratters?
So wake me up,
that one. That plays when you turn it on.
Avicii.
But I missed the
Classic
classic, horrible, cheap pop song that was always playing at the beginning of.
Oh no, they were terrible, Tom.
No, but they were good at the same time. That's what PES was all about.
Yeah. Then it had, what was the I can't remember, there was a dance song that it had at the start as well. It was the and it was so bad, but you promised that was why you got through the menu so quick, because the song was so bad. You was like, get me to a match quick and end this fucking song, and that was all you could do.
I could swear at the end of my game, it cut to a camera angle. There was just an armed guard walking towards the camera. I could swear
towards the camera.
Yeah, it was like, right, you're done, you game.
Like the stuff, like
now piss off.
Like in COD 4.
Also, the commentary, like.
Are we getting too far into review territory?
The commentary, all I found amusing was that, I can't remember who does it. It's like one of the regular commentators.
Isn't it?
You recognise him.
Yeah.
It's John. Is it John Champion or something like that?
What a name for a commentator!
And the way they must have told him to pronounce all the names like perfectly, as if you were saying it in that player's
like
language.
The accent, the regional accent.
So he puts a really thick accent on. So when and he says like a soldado, says it in a really Spanish way.
Yeah.
And that's not how people commentate.
Yeah.
Over here, and it's like Mertesacker. And he says it as if he's a Scouser. It's so funny, but because he's trying to make it really like what the nationality is like German.
Yeah, he's German,
and I assume that's how it's said in Germany,
right?
But and it's really got like pronunciation, certain sounds, but it comes across like he's just a bit Scouse.
Like it's ISS Pro 64. Do you remember
that's amazing? There's a video in that.
In ISS Pro 64, every person's name was recorded in isolation, so it'd be like the commentary would be said as a sentence, but then the name would be taken out of context. It'd be like, and now he passes the ball to Seaman, and it'd be just like a massive pause.
I think a lot of them do that, don't they?
No, because some of them are said in speech, and as a way of sort of
FIFA does try to do that, although it does end up repeating a lot.
Or what they do is they take the player's name out, and they'll say, "Tell me a bit more about this player," and then the name will come in the top left, and that's why they take out that sort of stuttering and that pause. They'll say, "Tell me what you think about the young midfielder coming," and that's the way they sort of get past that.
But PES in general, if you've read any of Burns' coverage, he seems to like it a lot. So if you're
some of the things he was saying the other day are ludicrous.
If you're a big PES fan,
like what?
I'm not sure I can repeat
say
them
more because it's all reviewy type stuff.
Okay,
but, so you don't agree with the statements?
I don't agree with a lot of stuff that
Burns has
says.
played this a lot. Like
There's,
he's been
there's a
playing.
demo though, isn't there?
There's
So
a
we can
demo.
talk about it from the demo.
I mean, what I've played is basically the demo. I've played like 2 matches, so but he's played it a lot, and he's going to have you'll see lots of stuff from him probably next week or something.
Whenever that happens.
Good.
Fair enough.
How you
But
getting
that's
on?
not the game that I've been dedicating most of my time to.
Is that game Advanced Warfare?
It is definitely that game.
Excellent
Advanced
news.
It's
Warfare.
very,
Good.
very good.
Dave, I read there is horrible netcode.
I read that, yeah, but I've not had any.
Is it
I've
because
had an
you're
issue.
such a noob and don't pay attention
Mate,
to people being shot?
I have been paying very careful attention to people being shot because I'm the one shooting them.
Nice.
I
Good.
have been
Good talk.
dicking on them.
Don't why do you always go with
Dave?
that?
They have been dicked.
I was about to say,
You
Dave.
don't.
Or
Don't-
on?
don't
Am I
go down
dicking them
this
or am I on
You're
them?
the one with the phrase. None of us have it. So why are you questioning
I
us?
dick on you.
Is this?
No, please
are you
don't.
part of the people that Glenn Schofield said he doesn't want playing
Michael
his game?
Condrey,
Michael
actually.
Condrey,
Yeah.
and it was one of them. And he said that he want the
He
community.
doesn't want a
is
toxic
nice. He doesn't want
community.
you're one of the
Dave is
are.
the
players.
toxic community.
I tell them. I'm playing on PS4 though. No one talks on PS4, and if
Good.
they are, they're just going.
I hate that. Yeah.
You shouldn't,
Fuck.
Shouldn't have your microphone on, should you? If you're not
Yeah.
going to actually talk.
When you join a game and the first thing you is,
Yeah.
you know, oh, shut the fuck up, and you have to mute individuals. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
I can't say that in my history of playing Call of Duty games, I've been in many public matches where people have been talking and it's been particularly pleasant to be involved with anyway.
No,
You're all
but-
with Dave saying like,
Yeah.
I'm going to dick.
I'm
on
gonna
you.
dick. I've dicked
Dick
on you.
you, dick.
But it felt a bit different when it was on Xbox 360, and it changed when they introduced Party Chat.
Do they
'cause people
still
just
have
stuck in
voice
party.
filters on the chat? Do you remember original
When Xbox Live originally
original
launched? Yeah.
Xbox Live?
That was amazing.
And everyone was like talking like a little child and stuff. God,
That
it
was
was
awesome.
bad. Hated that.
Was that done in like as a bit of a funny gimmick, or was it done in the interests of
I don't know.
the way people view privacy at that
Maybe.
time?
But it was just people being annoying, doing like pretending they've got a really high pitched voice.
I'm glad that's not there.
You
Instead,
say
we
that.
just listen to people.
Might have been their actual voice. They might have.
Fit choices.
But yeah, COD's really good.
Yeah, so I hear the best COD in years.
Yeah.
Says Stephen Burns.
I would agree. I would agree. The one thing that I do miss though from Ghosts, the Ghosts actually did better. I said this on Twitter and I got a little bit of flack for it. Is that Ghosts had your KD and your score in the top right of your screen at all
Right.
times, whereas this doesn't do that. You have to push the touchpad.
Fucking hell! How dare we call it the best COD in years?
And people were saying,
if
"Oh,
that
well,
doesn't
they're
happen?
trying to get away from KD and objective-based play." And it's like that's true, but the objective in team deathmatch is to kill people.
Yeah.
So
But then
that'd
again-
be nice to have. Oh shit, my mic.
You're dicking on your mic.
But no, really good, really good. I don't know if it will have the same lasting appeal as a game like Titanfall did.
I thought
You say that,
people
no
said
one's playing
Titanfall
it.
had no lasting appeal.
No, but for me personally, and people keep saying no one's playing Titanfall. No one's playing. And whenever I jump on Titanfall, there's always people playing Titanfall. I mean, maybe there's not hundreds of thousands of people playing it, but
Oh yeah, so I think it's still got a pretty decent community, hasn't it? A lot of people consider that the best game of the year, right? Titanfall.
I would say, I mean, it's between this and COD for best multiplayer game. Definitely, I would say personally.
Everyone assumed that COD copied Titanfall. Apparently, that didn't
Oh,
happen.
bollocks.
Apparently, it didn't happen. They conceived this idea before
And
Titanfall. But is there anything that Titanfall 2 could copy from this?
I don't know because this feels like Titanfall but without some of the features that Titanfall has. Like it doesn't
like
have.
the Titans, really. It's got Goliath.
When you first start
things,
playing it,
but-
because I played a lot of Titanfall.
Yeah.
And when you first start playing it, it feels very similar, the double jump and all that. But then you realise you can't wall run.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, right, okay, I've got to adjust to that. But then you can also sort of boost dodge left and right, which you
Yeah.
couldn't do in Titanfall. So, what could Titanfall learn from this?
Boost dodging, presumably. Do you like
Maybe.
that?
I mean,
To be
yeah,
fair,
that's
like,
good. That's good.
when you pull that off and you do manage to use the boost dodge to survive, you feel amazing when you're doing it.
It has its own. Yeah, I mean that's a cool moment.
Yeah.
But then there were loads of cool moments in Titanfall where you're
Yeah.
wall running from wall to wall and you're shooting dudes at the same time.
Wall running is cool. No one's going to dispute that.
Exactly.
The exo abilities are something that they could adopt in Titanfall. Like one of the and which ones they could take from it. Like the exo shield is really good. Like if you find yourself running in, like especially with the objective based maps like domination or capture flag, you run in and you find yourself suddenly surrounded by 3 people. You bring up that shield and you can just back yourself out of the room, and that's something that's really good. The
Yeah.
cloak one is a bit iffy because it depends on what map you're in, how invisible you really are. Because it's not like you're not.
Isn't that a thing that you can do in
invisible.
Titanfall anyway? Like the
Yeah, it was
temple-
one of them. Yeah, but I'm
temporary-
saying some of those they could take on, like the shield and stuff. So, like again, it goes back and forth between the two. One of the things that Titanfall does better than Call of Duty is that it understands the capabilities of the soldier more. So the level design of Call of Duty is really good. But one of the things where it struggles is when you're running on the floor and there's a window, you think, oh, I'll double jump and boost into there. But the height of the window is either lower or high. It's too low for the double jump. So I'll double jump and I'll be way above the window. And you think, well, I should be able to double jump into the window. That's the way that
Are you
the
just
level
bad
should
at
be
double
designed.
jumping?
Well, no, a double jump you should actually just
You're
land.
saying that the verticality doesn't quite align with
the level design. Yeah.
Right.
And because at one time I was doing it...
Because that was the thing with Titanfall, like the buildings,
Everything
where they
fit.
were placed,
Everything
it was
fit.
very carefully placed.
Like that. The best example is that E3 demo where it was the level in the city where that guy ran along the wall, double jumped, and he landed exactly in the window that was in front of him, and then just killed two guys. And that you can do that. It's not like that was done by a guy who's played the game for 200 hours. You know, anyone could pull that.
How do you know he hadn't been playing it for 200 hours? Presumably, they picked someone with some good experience.
Well, yeah, they did. But I'm saying that any player could pull off that move. It didn't take a lot to do it. Because again, the level design was spot on. And another thing is that the window was pretty large. I mean, that's something they could just do. Just make the window bigger in Call of Duty. You know, it's just again a sizing thing of the level design.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression from watching Burns play it that more, like it's still you still spend most of the time running around on the ground and it plays like Call of Duty games in that respect. It's and
there is like classic Call of Duty modes. You can choose to play
really?
without the extra.
Yeah, you can.
That's
Stuff on. Yeah,
I haven't tried it yet,
playlist.
But yeah. The one thing I would say is it doesn't feel like there are that many maps. Now, I don't know exactly how many maps there are.
There will be after the DLC.
Well, but it feels like I'm repeating maps over and over again quite often.
The thing is, though, I'm having that as well, but there's some maps I haven't even touched yet. I don't know if that's because the way the game's finding parties, because sometimes it's when the game finishes, it's kicking me out and putting me into a different set of players. So maybe that's what's happening.
COD as often does that.
Exactly. So maybe that's what the problem is, rather than a lack of maps.
But I've not had any problems with the netcode at all. I mean,
I think people are saying that it's not that it looks laggy; it's that when you watch like the kill cam, whatever, you clearly shot someone,
right,
and it doesn't look like that happened when you watch it back or something.
Right, okay.
And it's like, how did that happen? Because obviously you're shooting them, but they're not getting that their end or something. I don't know.
I see.
But
I think that's what Battlefield was accused of, wasn't it, for a while?
But I don't know. That's just what some people are saying.
Killer Instinct, right? Didn't Killer Instinct have a problem with that?
Did it?
Yeah, where there was...
Killer Instinct apparently just let you played against bots for a while.
Killer Instinct had it where if you was fighting against someone online and the connection dropped, it did the Drivatar thing where you fought their cloud data, and then it was a cloud fight where you was fighting their avatar, basically their behavioural patterns, and then when the connection was re-established, it put them back in and then sort of just aggregated whatever damage you've done from there.
I get the impression that a lot of people playing online have jumped from 360 and they've picked up a PS4 maybe quite recently, and they're not quite used to the controller yet. Because I seem to be doing a lot better on PS4 than I ever did on 360.
I said this. I said that I don't know what it is, but it feels like the quality difference on PS4 compared to the Xbox. It just feels different.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
I don't know why.
I seem to do a lot better on
PS4 gamers and noobs.
I feel like I do better on PS4 than on Xbox One. I don't know if that's, like you say, a controller thing or what.
Yeah. But I've not really put much time into the single player, which is weird, because normally with Call of Duty, I just go straight into the single player, get
double
that
XP
done.
though, innit?
Yeah, maybe because it's double XP. But maybe because I'm just addicted to the multiplayer. Multiplayer's amazing. Multiplayer's
really
great.
Guns sound so good as well.
Yeah.
They have that real good feel to them.
But I'm just sticking to the first gun.
That's what Burns said, how
then
good
you
it
need
is.
to go to the next gun.
That shotgun's pretty good though. The Soundwave one, that TAC 19 is really good.
The single player looks lovely. It looks really nice. It looks a lot better than the multiplayer does. The multiplayer looks nice, but the single player, some of the lighting and the way they do the characters, and it looks really good. Although, having said that, the first time you're introduced to Kevin Spacey, you've probably seen it, it's the funeral scene.
Right.
That scene looks terrible.
Why does it look so bad?
It looks really bad. I mean, Burns said it looked like a level from Hitman 2.
Yeah.
And it kind of does. And the way that they introduce...
And that's your first meeting with Big Kev.
Yeah, he's
outrageous.
He's sitting there at the funeral. I won't say why he's there. But he just sort of... You see him there, because he's to your right, and you're like, oh, there's
Big Kev.
Yeah. And suddenly he gets up and walks away.
Oh, man, I expect the first kind of glance, I wanted like a good detailed look at his face right away. That's how it should...
And anyway, you turn around to leave the funeral, and he comes up to you and goes, hey mate.
Is that actually what he says?
I own a private military company.
Mate.
and I think you are a world class soldier.
He's turned into Morgan Freeman.
Right.
And the delivery of his lines in that first scene, you're like, oh, this isn't as good as I was hoping for. This
isn't House
doesn't
of
sound
Cards.
What else does he
exactly.
say? What else does he say? Can you do more impressions, please?
Here's my business card. He's got a nice business card. It's
give it
electronic, and it's all
Morgan,
like,
you do a great Morgan Freeman impression. The problem is it's your Kevin Spacey impression.
no, this is him House of Cards impression. Hey, I'm going to be the president.
President.
House of Cards is amazing. By the way, House of Cards, if you've not seen it,
Yeah,
watch it
sort your
immediately.
life out.
So good. I mean, if you're not 18, don't watch it because it's quite rude. But
Right.
excellent. I mean, it is excellent. But yeah, he does look a bit dead-eyed, like what was his name? Conan O'Brien's very popular video review. Yeah, he looks slightly off, and especially in that scene, there's just something a little bit wrong about the whole thing. The next level is a lot better when you first actually get talking to him properly.
Have a proper chat with him.
Yeah, but that's where I'm up to. I've only done 3 levels.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it looks really nice. It's really good.
Awesome.
Who do you think is going to be the next big star in the next
That they're
year's
gonna
game?
bring in?
Because presumably, like Treyarch, if they're doing next year's one,
Yeah.
we'll have to have someone.
Wouldn't
Wouldn't it be one of the guys from True Detective? That seems to be the popular thing to go to now, right?
What, getting people from True Detective?
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
I was thinking
That's a
more
good one.
of what's the other guy called? Matt
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Captain Picard,
He is
Patrick
quite,
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
He is a kind of regular video game
He'll do
hero,
it.
isn't he? But I'm not sure
Oh, he's not, what is the
he's
bad
not-
guy?
I don't
He's
think
not.
he's. I
Come
don't
on.
think he's
Whoa, spoilers, young man. Spoilers.
What, that Kevin Spacey's the bad guy in Call of Duty?
I don't think that has been officially revealed.
I haven't actually played a single player. I've got no idea if that's true or not.
Me neither,
Can we
but I would
get-
assume it is.
I
we
would
get
assume it
David?
is as well.
As Morgan Freeman in the next Call of Duty. Can we get that as a sort of campaign? 'Cause
Well, Ubisoft are using Morgan Freeman, aren't they?
in what?
Assassin's Creed.
Really?
Really?
You just spoiled something, Dave.
Why have you just done those
Just
eyes
made
like
down
you
a
weren't supposed to
massive
say
spoil-
that?
yeah, your
I
eyebrows
thought we
went
were all
crazy.
aware of what I was talking about with their little advert, their little promo.
Is he a character or is he doing the
that,
voiceover?
that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing with the guy that does the...
Arnold
Oh,
Schwarzenegger.
right.
That was
guy.
bad. That was bad.
That was bad.
My voice there, I meant.
Oh,
Oh,
your
right,
voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
I
talking about
can't
the
do Arnold. Can I do Arnold? I don't think I can do an Arnold.
Wait, that's not.
What?
No,
Who are you
stop.
who are you trying to be? That's not.
Arnold.
Arnold from where? Where's Arnold from?
Yeah.
Austria.
No, he's not.
Hollywood.
You've never
No,
met an Austrian
definitely
person
not.
in your life.
There's another. No, I'm not even going near that. I'm not touching that one.
What?
I'm not touching that one.
I looked at a game called Crooks recently, which apparently their announcement trailer or one of their early
This is
trailers
the Ron Jeremy thing.
featured Ron Jeremy as
Yeah.
Who is Ron Jeremy, Bratters?
He's a famous porn star, probably the most famous male porn star.
What
I'd
is
say.
porn?
It's I don't know.
Your lips are
something-
going insane.
Something that Ron Jeremy's involved with.
You are.
Well, they
all
would
over
with
the
Ron
place.
Jeremy around.
You are all over the place, Brad. You're flustered. It's your coat making you hot.
And I am a little bit warm.
Have
now,
you ever
so-
watched a Ron Jeremy movie?
I haven't, no. I've seen him being interviewed before. He seems like quite a pleasant chap, to be honest. I haven't got any problems with Ron.
Really?
Yeah, he seems quite pleasant.
Oh, I don't know the guy.
What problems?
I
would
don't
you
either.
have?
I've just seen. I mean, do you ever know someone just from watching an interview? It's a bit probably not.
You probably have to watch his work first before you really get to know him.
I'm not sure. He
Big
does a
Dong
lot of
Ron.
talking.
You know what they call him?
I don't know, Dave.
I imagine so.
It's all gone wrong.
Anyway,
All right, I haven't played Call of Duty properly, like really delved into the multiplayer stuff since like Black Ops. What went wrong from Black Ops, and what have they kind of fixed? With
well, Infinity Ward went to
this one?
shit.
Is that the?
Black Ops 2 had a terrible campaign.
And
No,
Ghost
talking
was Ghost.
multiplayer. I've messed around with all the campaigns a little bit.
What went wrong in multiplayer?
It seems like Black Ops was the last time people were truly like.
I really like Modern Warfare 3 though, and that came out after
Oh, really?
Black
Okay,
Ops.
fair enough.
Yeah.
People didn't like Modern Warfare 3. I've never really
I
understood
liked it.
why they didn't like.
I mean, I like the. I'm not sure if you guys have found this, but like, it seemed like Advanced Warfare kind of sneaked up on us. Like, it was suddenly it's like, oh shit, it's out on Monday, or
Yeah, it did feel a bit like a stealth.
which
Yeah.
is
release.
not something I've ever thought about a Call of Duty game
I
since
think
Modern
it's
Warfare.
happened a bit increasing over the last few years.
Yeah.
Like there used to be such a big build up to
Oh,
Call
yeah,
of Duty,
definitely.
and then it kind of became like you never really felt that it happening until like a couple of weeks before release. But this has been even like, less than that. It just like
I know it's been a busy month like leading up to that, but yeah, it was just like shit.
I wonder if they were maybe distracted a bit too much by Destiny. That just took a lot of their efforts.
Yeah, actually, that's probably a very good point.
And then it was suddenly a last-minute rush to get COD. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a last-minute rush, but, you know, maybe the attention was divided.
You took in terms of marketing.
In terms of marketing.
Because I hear like they've spent longer on this one than they've spent 3 years on this game, right?
First game
actually
with the 3 year
developing it,
cycle.
yeah.
Which is
it's the first one of their
why
3
people
years.
probably...
And I can't remember where I said this, maybe it was on a stream. I have a lot of respect for Sledgehammer, Glenn Schofield and Michael Condren. I think
They're really passionate about it. Like,
they're quite humble guys, so that's the impression I get. I mean, I've spoken to Glenn Schofield once or twice a few years ago. He seemed like a nice guy. He's an artist. He paints.
He does
And then he makes games.
Didn't he do a painting?
Games
at
are
a
art.
press event?
Games are art.
Huh?
I'm sure he did a painting at a press event, didn't he?
Did he?
Really?
What, live?
I think Burns said that he was at a press event playing COD, like the new one, and he was there just painting on a canvas.
Oh,
Wonderful.
was that part of the event? Like,
No, it's just I think he just wanted
like,
to
I'm
do it.
bored.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like live on stage. It was like one of those. He was painting the event as it was happening or
That's amazing.
something.
Wow, what a game!
I mean, this is
Yeah.
Burns.
You
It
are.
could be bollocks.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, Treyarch. People love Treyarch, and I've never really been all
I think it's because
that.
they're like the underdog compared
think
to
it's
Infinity
because
Ward.
They
everyone-
were, but then they kind of
Yeah.
became the main COD
everyone
studio.
assumed that they
Yeah,
were like
yeah.
the B team, and then
Yeah.
they became better than Infinity Ward because Infinity Ward went all over the place, and then now they're under pressure, I think, to do something better than
I
this.
do like there's that competition there. I think that's really healthy. Like
Yeah.
I know, you know, regardless of whether or not you think the development cycle's rushed or whatever, it's good that there's two studios that are like directly want to beat each other every time.
And they've got the other issue is that they've got to make a game that is somehow different to this because
I mean, it'd be weird going back if it doesn't have these exo.
Yeah, that was a question that was asked on the stream. It's a good point. It's like, where do they go? If they don't include it because the setting doesn't fit, then what can they add?
Presumably,
to
they'd have to
others?
have their own sort of unique mechanic as well.
But the time period might not fit. We don't know where this one's going to be set.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was World War II again.
But then,
And I'd
what,
like-
what
I'd like
gameplay
that.
mechanic could you add that fits? You know, this sort of speed.
Tanks.
they'd have vehicles.
I honestly think that it
Tanks.
would be different enough for Call of Duty just to go
To go
back.
back,
I don't
yeah.
think
Yeah,
they need it. I think
that's
like
true. That's very true.
because it's weird though, isn't it? Because that Call of Duty used to be that was just Call of Duty for a
Call
long
of
time.
Duty 2 is one of my favourite ones.
Yeah, it's really.
Two was really good.
I really like it. It's good.
Yeah. Modern Warfare, though, that trilogy was just, I thought it was an incredible trilogy.
Yeah.
Loved it. They felt blockbustery.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
felt epic. I was saying this to Tom, that the first level of Advanced Warfare, I was a little bit disappointed by it. It's the one that you would have seen in the E3 like demo, where I think, is it
You shoot
South
with
Korea? Or
drones.
is it?
North Korea's invaded South Korea, and you
Yeah.
have to go and defend the.
And it feels like it wants you to feel like you're in this massive war zone. And it's kind of what Modern Warfare 2 and 3 did really well. In that you didn't just feel like you were fighting down a single street and that's where the attention was. It felt like there was this atmosphere. It felt like
There was stuff
the
going on
city
in
was
the
in
Shit was
un-
going on, man.
Yeah. And it tries to do that, albeit in a sort of futuristic-y setting. And I don't think it quite manages it. It still sort of leads you down these narrow streets and I don't think it quite gets... And it's made me concerned a little bit. I'm not sure whether the campaign will be as good as those. I mean, people say it's an amazing campaign. I've talked to loads of people who say it's one of the best ones ever. So hopefully I'll be proved wrong. But that first mission I was a little bit
Maybe that's like
underwhelmed by.
Could have done with a
easing
bit
you
more
in.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Problem is, if it
Or
does that,
Flash.
then it sets a bar for itself. Whereas if it starts the way it has, then it might be easing you in and sort of ramping up slowly. Whereas if it does that bombastic opening,
You don't want to
like
blow your
like-
load too early, is what Brett's trying to say. there.
Well,
What
I
Ron
mean,
Jeremy
you
says.
know,
Ron Jeremy probably would say that.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
So
Like,
yeah,
'cause
cool.
you think about all the highlight levels that we've always looked back on from like Modern Warfare, or the Modern Warfare trilogy. They come to like towards the end of the second act, and they're sort of
A lot of them have their kind of bits that they perhaps didn't need to have in them, though.
yeah.
Like,
but then that sort of that
Modern Warfare
juxtaposes the
2's,
big moment.
what was the market level called in Brazil?
Was
Oh,
it called
God, that
Favela?
was-
Oh.
Yeah, just
I
called
thought-
I remember playing that because I was going after the achievements then, playing that on like the harder difficulties.
Oh, that was
I was
a
just
nightmare.
hiding under
I
those
loved
stores.
Popping
the
out of
chase
the-
at the beginning. The
Yeah.
chase was really good, and then it got into this weird kind of, and then stuff like that where you're like, you look back on it like, yeah, that wasn't great. And Modern Warfare 3, I can't remember what was it, like an Africa level.
I can't remember.
And I didn't. It was sort of sneaking around the sort of undergrowth, and
Right.
I wasn't really.
Maybe it
taken by
needs that
one.
contrast though for you to appreciate the sort of the highlight moment. If it's all
Maybe.
highlights, then you'll think you won't remember it.
But then I think like Modern Warfare 2 did it so well in that it had all of that massive action, let's just call it that. The first level, the New York level, you pop your head out, and suddenly there's a helicopter flying over the top. It's the first thing you see. Do you know what I mean? And then you're into, is it New York? You're in New York, right, for that level?
Yeah.
Just shooting Russians or whatever, taking over. And like,
such an American
this
quote.
is amazing. Then the next level is a lot slower paced. The ice level, right? When you're with Soap.
Yeah. And you slide down the
But
side.
it still feels really cool. Even though it hasn't got this massive action, big action moments, you're just sneaking around. He's like, right, sneak by me, take him out. And it's like, they just got the pacing perfect. Granted, the favela stuff was a bit off. But when they went big and when they went quiet,
even the quiet,
they knew how to balance it. They knew what worked. Whether this turns out to be the same or not, I don't know. I can't tell you. It's too early to tell. But hopefully it does. Ron Jeremy. I'm intrigued. What does Ron Jeremy have to do with, what is it, a strategy game?
It's a heist game. You control like crooks. You control like
Crooks.
Yeah, it's spelled. It
Are
has
you
a
saying
CROOKS
or CRUX?
neither. I'm saying CROOKZ.
Right.
Because that's how you make things more cool by putting Zs on them.
Right.
Didn't they do a game like this before with the mafia type?
I'm not entirely sure. I did. By the way, this was a preview thing. I didn't actually play Crooks. I just watched someone else play it. I played Dungeons 2 at that event, which is that
hasn't got Ron Jeremy in it.
It hasn't, no. But that
It's not
series,
our dungeon game then.
ever since it started, people have just kind of hoped desperately that it's going to be a Dungeon Keeper game, in as close to that as possible. And apparently the first Dungeons game was not that.
Well, you may be surprised to learn this, Christopher Bratters, but many years ago,
I do know Dungeon Keeper, yes.
at Gamescom, I played the original Dungeons.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
With Ron Jeremy.
Not with Ron Jeremy.
Oh.
And I was sitting there thinking, okay, no, this looks like a Bratters game. Before I even knew you.
That's amazing. Oh, great.
So I do know the type of game that you're talking about. This is the sequel to that game.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's the same franchise.
It's Dungeons 2, Brad.
But it plays nothing like the first one.
So is it a sequel? Isn't it a sequel? I mean, if you've got Dungeons and you're thinking, right, Dungeons 2, that's the sequel to the game I've played. You're now telling them it isn't.
Then you would be disappointed all over again.
Jeez.
It's not. It is much more. It's much closer to that original Dungeon Keeper style. By the way, there is, since the original Dungeons, there has been War of the Overworld, right, which has come out and people are talking about.
You're looking at me as if I know.
Oh.
You're asking me a question.
Dungeon Keeper fans will know this. I'm not sure that there is necessarily room to make a game that's one for one with Dungeon Keeper anymore. I think the other games are
the
already
market's
doing it.
oversaturated with
Dungeons,
Dungeon Keeper.
the game, I quite liked it. It had a cool little mechanic where you laid the traps down for the heroes to come in, and the heroes basically got completely destroyed.
Yeah, but you had to kind of, from the sounds of it, you had to keep the heroes kind of in your dungeon for a while before you could take them out, and it was...
And these were sort of like magical elves and fantasy bollocks that would come in and for all
actual fantasy.
They'd come in for the treasure and want to kill the guy, the Grim Reaper, whatever it is that you play. Who are you? Like a demon man?
Is this literally
The
Dungeon
Dungeon
Keeper
Lord,
you're
I guess.
talking
The
about?
dungeon.
It
Lord.
wasn't, no.
It sounds a lot like it, though.
Yeah, and bullet points, it sounded exactly like it. And
Right,
so
okay.
people were disappointed when they ended up playing it and it wasn't the same kind of game. This one is supposed to be more of that. But there's also this kind of RTS element to it as well. When you
Right, so let's talk. How does it differ then?
So the dungeon management stuff is very, very similar to that. They have gone as full Dungeon Keeper by the looks of it. You kind of have a floating hand that you can pick people up and you can place them, you slap them around to make them work harder, you clear out rooms, you build a treasury, all that kind of stuff. And then the other half of the game is once you've kind of made your dungeon and you've got some troops, you send them outside and then it becomes this really, really basic RTS game. Like
Brutal Legend.
Imagine Warcraft 3 without any of the kind of hero abilities or unit abilities, really. As in, you just the
Command and Conquer.
you control like nowhere near that. You control like quite a few units, probably because there's a cap on how many units you can have in total. You probably got like 10 units out in the overworld in the missions I was playing, and it's literally drag a square over them and right-click enemies, and then you leave them to it. There are a few
Sounds fine
spells
to
that
me.
you can use as well. It's just very basic. I don't know really that it's that fun as a result.
Right.
The dungeon management stuff seems quite nice. I enjoyed it. It's all right. It's okay. I just think if you wanted a Dungeon Keeper game, maybe look into this War of the Overworld game that's trying to be a little bit closer to that. Has support from Molyneux.
Does it?
And, well, he's not as in he's working on it, as in he's come out and
He's
said,
given it
this
his
game looks a
blessing.
lot like Dungeon Keeper. Look good.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting.
I'm still interested in the Ron Jeremy game.
No,
That-
let's move on.
Yeah, it had Ron Jeremy in the teaser.
He's not in the
There you
game.
are.
He's not in the game. I don't
But the
think.
heist sound
He's
good.
in the trailer.
Just,
We talked
what
about
do you
Ron
mean?
Jeremy loads already.
But you commit heists, what?
It's I didn't get
It's
to
still
play it.
very early, this
yeah,
game. We
very
haven't
early. It's
seen
a
much.
heist game, like
It's
a
set in
tactical
like
heist game.
Strategy?
in the 70s. or
Yeah,
something.
people like when they're not doing anything, they'll probably like dance around on the spot in a 70s style. They have afros and the characters look like they came from Austin Powers, pretty much.
Oh, I'd love an
So-
Austin Powers game.
A
But
Goldfinger
it's
Austin
like-
Powers, by the way.
it's
That'd be
not-
the worst game
It's
ever
like an
made.
isometric thing, isn't it? It's not.
It's
You
a
don't
baby.
play. It's not like
Yeah, it's isometric. You control like a group
Yeah.
of like about four
yeah.
like members of your team and stuff. It's I don't know. I didn't get to play it.
Too early to
It's
know.
one of those ones. It was kind of a little just. Oh, this is also what we've got
Yeah.
coming up. I only really messed around with dungeons.
Excellent.
Yeah. Other than that, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Previewed that. Played 4 hours of it.
I hear that you got it wrong.
Don't bring up your opinions about this game again, Bratters.
There's
wrong
a
opinions.
big 25-minute video with Jim and I talking about that. If you'd like to listen
Did
to
Jim say stuff that was wrong as well? Was it just you?
it. What do you mean wrong?
Your opinions were wrong.
I don't think is that something that can happen?
Yeah.
Well, the video is called "How Does It Compare to Dragon Age Origins?" And people are upset that we made it. I don't know. Some
That you
people
dared compare a sequel to its predecessor.
Some people, yeah, and some people that are
had
watching
the
that video
nerve.
have on people that watch VideoGamer.
You could
have
do
just
this with
come along
Dungeons too.
just for. Yeah, I could. Oh my god, we'll keep annoying people.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I quite liked what I played, but I also really have a very, very soft spot for Dragon Age Origins, and it's kind of overshadowed by that because the game isn't that similar to a predecessor that I really, really liked, and apparently that's upset some people because I shouldn't have said that. What I should have said is Inquisition looks really good. There's lots of quests to
You
do.
will not be disappointed by this game.
It has dragons.
Yeah.
It's set in an age, and there's an Inquisition. So I mean,
I mean, it does what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
It does.
Really?
I mean, so
Yeah.
who am I to say that it's not like Origins?
But you've still got a long way to go with that game, haven't you?
Yeah, that was just based on the preview that we did. Yeah, the actual game. Apparently, by the way, if you complete all the side quests in that game, if you try to do that, your gameplay time will look somewhere between 120 and 135
Wow, you better
hours.
get
Is that
going,
long
Yeah,
for a game like
off you
that?
go.
It's longer than the
Yeah,
other two,
yeah,
isn't
it is
it?
actually. There's so much, so many side things to do
People
in
would
this game.
pour hundreds of hours into the games like Skyrim and stuff. I just assumed
It
that-
actually, there is a lot of comparisons made with the Skyrim approach to quests. Actually, I think. Yeah, Origins had loads of things you could do around the side, but it was quite structured in the. You'd probably struggle to get near that kind of gameplay time. I think.
Right. It's one of those that I'm interested in, but I don't know if I like the combat.
That's
of
what
it.
I said. Yeah, I said the same thing.
Have you played? Do you play Dragon Age 2?
No.
Well,
I played,
So the combat has very little to do with Dragon Age Origins. It's completely different. It's much more action focused.
But is it like 2?
Yeah, it's quite similar to 2, with the ability to kind of pause the game and zoom the camera out and make some decisions.
Is that on all versions or
Yes.
just PC?
Yeah, all versions.
See, I played Dragon Age Origins for preview on PC, and
That
I
is a tough game to preview, I think.
and I
Origins
didn't know what I was
get
doing,
going.
and that's kind of put me off as a whole. I think really.
Oh, that's a real shame, man. I
Yeah.
think like BioWare RPGs are fantastic. Like it's so the combat in that game, I can see why that might rub you the wrong way because it's quite an old-fashioned approach. I don't actually think it made a lot of mistakes as well. I remember like if you there is a build that you can go after. I tried recently where I played through the Origins again recently. I had a warrior, and the abilities that I picked that made sense ended up that pretty much all my energy, or like my kind of, which is like mana or whatever, was being used on sustaining kind of bonuses. So there'll be like an ability that if you activate, it'll cost a bunch of energy, but gives you like increased damage for as long as you keep it up.
Right.
So I ended up actually not having any active abilities to use, which is a really boring way to play that game. And that is possible. And it makes those kind of mistakes, which Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition even more so will never let you do that. It's always telling you, look at these cool abilities you can use. And
Right.
so yeah, the combat feels very active, I think, in Inquisition. Like you're when you're not doing tactical stuff, when you're actually playing it just kind of on the fly and you're controlling one character, you're constantly moving. You're using big flashy abilities. Some of them, like one of the abilities that I use with my kind of ranger character is like fires a hail of arrows and means that you do a backflip at the same time to like get you away from enemies. But you can use that to like jump over walls, and it feels like there's just loads of stuff that you're doing all the time. Whereas in comparing that combat to Origins is like chalk and cheese. There's
Right.
That game was classic
Can you
isometric.
do punches?
You can hit people with like melee weapons.
But this is where I'm getting confused because obviously I haven't played either of them. But one of the common complaints of Dragon Age 2 was that it was more actiony, the combat and all that.
Yeah.
And I kind of got the impression that maybe it had turned into sort of Fable or something like that.
Right.
But how does... I mean, first of all, how did they change between Origins and 2 in terms of the combat? And what have they done since 2 for Inquisition? Does it feel more like Origins? Or
So they heard the complaints, right? That it was such a big departure from what Origins combat was, going to this kind of actiony approach. And so you played the combat in Origins.
Yeah, but it's so long ago that I can't really.
It's like an
remember what it
isometric
was.
view. It's done like a very old. Like,
Does it feel like
an
an
old-fashioned
MMO
RPG?
style combat where you click something and then click
That's
a
how I
function
remember it
and then-
being. Yeah, in
What?
Origins.
or something more like Baldur's Gate?
I'd say it was a bit more like Baldur's Gate in Origins. It was based on those kind of ideas. And then in 2 it went much more actiony, and because you didn't pause the game and pull the camera out, you lost some of the strategy there, right? Because there'd be moments in the big boss fights in Origins where you'd have to pause the game and really think about what you're doing. You'd have to be like, the tank at this stage needs to taunt whilst I get this range unit out of the way. The mage needs to heal, and my other character needs to be getting a flanking bonus and that kind of stuff. Which by losing that camera angle and losing the ability to just pause the game and really think about it, that kind of approach to the strategy disappeared into, and it became more about actiony and big, like cool looking like abilities. And it was like there were complaints that it was a departure, but it also was more fun to use in some of the more basic situations when you're just fighting, kind of standard enemies that you don't need to put all that kind of thought process into. It looked better and it was more fun to use. So with Inquisition, they've tried to incorporate a little bit of what Origins had by having that tactical view. So you usually, in like a standard fight where you haven't really got to worry about too much, you'll be doing this exactly the same way you would be in 2. But when you've got a bigger fight, you can pause the game and give all these instructions individually. And, when you're in the tactical view, you can hover your cursor over the enemy and see how much health they've got and like a few stats about them. So it's somewhere in between.
Best of both worlds then, Braz. 10 out of 10.
You see, you use words like tank and
sorry.
ranger. No. But I have a basic idea of what
Sure.
that means because I have to hear about it all the bloody time at home.
RPGs to
But
the Scammell podcast, is it?
no.
So-
But
no,
is this a
this
good
is
place for me?
learn.
Is this a good game for someone like me who doesn't
Yeah.
really know what any of that stuff does as a basic idea? Is it good for me to jump in at this point?
I think
or-
actually, yes, it is. So by tank, I mean that'll be like your warrior class has a lot of health, and importantly, make sure that
Take a lot of damage,
the big
does a lot of
enemies
damage.
are focusing on them. That's
yeah.
what a taunt means.
Yeah.
Whereas in Origins and in 2, you had like a healing class as well. So it was kind of like you mentioned that you've heard about this in MMOs, right?
Yeah.
You like one of the general rules in a lot of MMOs is you have to have a tank and a healer, and then the rest can be different stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a healer in Inquisition. They've removed that altogether pretty much. You use potions instead, which you kind of replenish almost in like a Dark Souls fashion. When you get to certain checkpoints, you can replenish your potions, and so I think yeah, I reckon it's actually that there's less to really worry about before the fight begins. You're more just concentrating on doing as much damage as you can and putting your the strategy really comes from getting your people in the right positions and then just making sure that the tank gets all
So it's
the heat.
XCOM.
It's not XCOM at all. No.
I think you should start playing MMOs, Dave.
I think
Start getting a feel for these characters.
I think
Nah.
Inquisition, by
Understanding.
this sounds of it, but from what I've seen so far, I've played the first part of the game. You could easily jump into that game without having any experience with Dragon
I am
Age.
interested in it.
The story
I'm put off
feels
by-
quite separate.
Have you pre-ordered it?
Do you want the honest answer?
All right, how many times have you pre-ordered it?
I have pre-ordered it
How many times?
with the intention that I may cancel my pre-order. But I
you do that with everything, though.
well, I pre-ordered this because it was cheap at the time, and I thought, just in case I decide I do want it, I'll get that order in now.
Which console?
PS4
And
and PS4.
Yeah, I think.
You could try it on Access, couldn't you, for 6 hours?
That's the thing. Yeah,
I think
there's
that's a really great thing, by the way, because I think the 6 hours with that game will give you a really good idea of what it's about. Because you'll do your prologue stuff, and then you get to the first big zone, and these zones are huge. Like I'm still now going. I've been playing later on. I think I'm probably approaching 10 hours or something like that, and I'm still going back to the first zone to try and complete it because there's just so much stuff to do. And that side of it, I'm enjoying playing it. It's just so different to where this series started from. It's constantly my kind of complaint with that, and the reason I think some people were upset during that preview is that the way it handles the side missions in particular, I'm not wild about. There's loads of stuff to do, and that'll be great. I mean, you'll get your money's worth definitely. But I think the side missions in Origins, I felt like there was an important story involved with most of them, where you'd be making decisions, you could really influence where that story ended up, and like you know the dialogue options you had with these kind of the people involved in these quests. There's often like 6 choices you could pick between, and you didn't always have to be the good guy. You could do it made you feel like your character had personality and outside of just the main storyline. Whereas in Inquisition, from what I've seen so far, all the side quests are either you going up to a person and them saying, right, we need this thing, please. You'll probably be able to ask them something about it. So, like, one of the first ones, and this was really off-putting, was like, got to this first village, and I spoke to someone who like, we need some ram meat.
right.
Meat from rams.
Rams. Yeah.
familiar with ram meat.
And I was like, what do you need that for? And he's like, oh,
cook, presumably.
everyone, like, we're starving, everyone's really hungry. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll go get that. And then that was it. That was like, and then you go and do that, you bring it back to them, they say thanks, you get some experience. And that's pretty much how all the quests, the side quests, are being handled. And often you don't even have the first part. You'll just find like a letter in a house somewhere that will say, oh, I've left you this thing. I need you to return something to me. And it means that you'll go and find this item and return it to whoever wrote this letter in the first place.
Is this just because there's so many of them? They've had to
so
simplify them?
So there was nothing off-putting about them needing ram meat. It was the number of quests. Because where you said it, I thought you meant there was something off-putting about them needing ram meat.
Well, the thing is, that feels like a very an MMO
Like a
approach.
flippant
Right.
sort of.
It's like
Right, okay. I
World
thought
of
you
just
meant-
an
World of
excuse to
Warcraft
get you doing
gets-
something.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you
Gets
meant that the fact that they wanted ram meat was something that you was like, oh, hang on a minute.
No,
These are very dodgy folk.
No. I get that they're in a hard position.
They're
and
going through
they
hard
need
times.
food. It's just the whole way they're approaching side quests does feel like the way
if you
vanilla World of
focused-
Warcraft focused on that
If you
stuff.
focus more on the main story, you wouldn't get these issues as much.
No, although you like a large portion of the game is the side stuff. A huge portion of the game is the side stuff. It's weird. Like on one hand, it means that there is way more stuff to do, and it'll keep you busy, and like to go exploring through these areas and just finding stuff to do all the time is fun, and it kind of, it keeps you wanting to do more. Like I'm enjoying playing it because of that, but they've had to sacrifice as a result one of the things that I found most important about Origins. That's what I was saying originally, and I get that that's not what people wanted to hear necessarily. And maybe I think I may have been a little bit
Here we go.
harsh.
We're going to have a big apology now, aren't we? I was wrong.
No, just in the way that I put Origins on this pedestal, and I do because I think it's a really fantastic RPG. And I get that not everyone shares that opinion. Some people are happy.
I got the impression a lot of people thought Origins was great.
Definitely. But some people are happy to make this sacrifice, happy to, we don't need the kind of story-heavy stuff of the side missions as long as there's loads of side missions to do.
Right.
And, okay, fair enough. That's just not how I felt about it. And that's pretty much it.
We don't care how you feel, though, bro. That's the problem here,
Shit.
isn't it?
You could have stopped me like
This is
20
why
minutes
this
ago.
whole
then.
section's been pointless.
Fuck. All right, good. Well, that's...
I mean, that just goes in general. Like, forget Dragon Age.
Just take that forward.
Someone will moan now that we've been so mean to you.
I know, right?
Just let you talk for half an hour on this.
Yeah.
I found a voicemail, by the way. I'm not going to play it.
Go on.
That just says, Bratters is a cunt.
Blimey.
Sorry, I should stop calling you when I'm drunk.
It was by a drunk person,
Was
actually.
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a bit mean.
It was, indeed.
No one's ever called you that
You
before.
open that thinking,
You have.
Oh, yeah. Rubbing my,
Talking about?
rubbing my hands together, like, oh, man, I wonder what this exciting topic's going to
Yeah,
be.
maybe it's another rap. Maybe it's.
Oh,
something
I do
good.
love the raps, and they
No.
just no.
Oh, that review's are cool. Shout out to
Yes.
Brett Claxton,
Yeah.
the real Brett Claxton.
Yeah, he's made a reviews called for Picks the Cats.
That was amazing.
Which I'll put if
Bit
you.
rude at first, but
It's wonderful.
calm
yeah.
down after a while.
Fans of the podcast should check that
Definitely.
out. I'll put a link in the video description to it. Well,
That's
we
what I'm
are
playing.
running around the hour
It's
mark.
because you spent about an
I know.
hour talking about Dragon Age.
Yeah, about
It's
45
not-
minutes. This was Dragon
Is
Age
that
chat,
tr-
and your
is that true?
apology,
Is
you're
that true?
backtracking.
You'll cut it so it's a lot shorter, but you've been talking so
You won't
long.
cut the chat. You won't cut the Dragon Age chat.
What about I've
be
been
the Dragon
playing
Age
Bros.
cast.
Tom, Ari,
You spoke about Pez.
what have you
Yeah,
been playing?
briefly.
Although we
About
did
Pez.
talk about you playing
I
Pez
played
earlier.
Pez about 15 minutes.
All right,
I played Alien.
Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's
Let's move on,
well,
shall
do
we?
You want to know something
let's
about
talk
what I
about it.
played?
Yeah, yeah. Well, have you just started? Is this?
Is it scaring you?
I'm at the bit, well, I've just found the androids.
Oh, right.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know how far through that is because I'm playing it in such short chunks. I have no idea how far
What
through
is
About
like
an
a maximum? How long are your play
35
sessions?
minutes, 40 minutes
I'm
maximum.
never having a kid. You'd never get through Inquisition with that kind
Probably
of
not. I
time
basically
constraint.
Just
Play-
send the kid to bed.
He does. He's in
or
bed.
to
I
boarding
love
school or something.
Dave's. I love that Dave thinks that's it. They're unconscious forever. Then they're unconscious till you wake them up.
Just-
put a kid to bed. You play your games for as long as you want, and then you wake the kid when you're done.
Just tell him, Daddy's got things to do. Enjoy this glass of milk.
and some jubblies, nice ice lolly, and go to bed.
Well, if jubblies are available,
Don't turn it into something weird.
What's a dribbly?
Let's move on.
It's the ice lolly.
Anyway, Alien.
You
Alien. Yes, about the androids.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked Alien Isolation quite a lot when I was just wandering around space stations,
It's an incredible
just
environment.
looking
isn't
around
it?
and like, oh, this is nice. There's a nice bit of corridor here.
you liked it before anything scary turned out.
And it's
Is
like
that what-
some like
homes under the hammer.
There's a bit of steam.
who would live in a house like
Here's
this?
some nice lighting. Oh look, it's a little like flashing light. I go and look at the light, and then that was all nice. That was all nice. It was
Oh,
quite.
God.
It felt safe.
Wow.
And now,
Well, does it?
it
No,
did,
the
it
music
did.
means
It
it's
did.
never
No,
safe.
So it felt at the beginning, particularly like once you'd obviously there was that bit where you kind of smash into the edge of it, and then you get on, then you were like wandering around, and it felt like it was all right. There were a few people here and there, but they don't care.
It's
about
not the
them.
best situation to be in,
No,
but you're
it
quite
felt,
content.
I didn't feel under threat particularly. And then the bit happened with where you're like behind that desk, and the alien comes down,
Yeah.
and then the
And
tail
its tail-
flops over, and then runs up past you and
I
stuff.
wouldn't say it flops over. I don't think anything about
It is
Alien
fairly
flops.
flaccid at that point.
But
I'd
after,
say it tumbles down.
yeah, okay, well, it tumbled down the side of the desk. Okay,
Right.
Bratters.
Okay.
And then after that, it now feels very different.
Now that the alien,
The tone, the feel of the game's changed
I think that's-
completely.
I think that
and
was-
I know that's intentional.
Yeah.
But suddenly I felt all those closets or cupboards or storage lockers, whatever they're called, suddenly feel like they have a purpose. Because as soon as that thing came in, I went straight to the nearest one,
Stayed there for 6
Stayed
Tom,
there
hours.
for a
what
while.
were you expecting, Tom?
looked around.
Yeah.
I was expecting
you
it to
bought
happen.
a
but-
game that's about being chased by an alien.
Yes, but I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that it has changed a lot.
yeah,
I'd much prefer
I agree
that.
with that. I completely.
And that, like, it's like they've done it very well. Like, suddenly, and that alien didn't reappear in that room. Like, I stayed there for about 5 minutes looking at that.
That's like a fifth of your playtime.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You're running such a
And
tight
you
amount of
spend
time.
it looking out through a closet.
I mean, I'm tempted to play it without any headphones on at all and just no sound because I wouldn't be anywhere near as scared about what's going on.
Then you'd suddenly
Because
be
you have
whipped
no
around. There'd be an
atmosphere.
alien in
I
your
wouldn't,
face.
wouldn't matter though, because I wouldn't send the fear comes from the like as soon as that alien
Sound
turned up, the
design's
music
great.
changed, everything felt
Yeah.
worse. I mean, it was really slightly because I went through like the door and then suddenly there was a floating gun just in. Like,
That's very
floating.
spooky, to
That
be honest.
ruined it slightly, if I'm honest.
You weren't in 0G, were you?
No, and it did ruin the atmosphere a little bit because I thought this is a bit of a.
This is unbelievable.
This either there's like cloaking going on or something, or it's a glitch, and it was a glitch.
Cloaking.
But yeah, so I'm at the androids now,
Yeah.
wandering around.
They're
I
a bit-
basically
bit
play
nicer.
till I get to the next save station thing, and then stop.
I guess that's actually probably about right for you, isn't it?
Because
Because it's
At the
between
moment,
each
that
one.
seems to
But
work
if you miss that save station, you're fucked.
But I
If you
look
miss the next
everywhere.
one-
I look everywhere, all the rooms. So
Yeah.
I never miss anything as far as I can see.
Mm.
But I imagine I'll be playing this probably about next year, like February,
it's-
March.
Till the sequel.
Quite long, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm probably about 2 hours in. It's probably not very far, but it's taken me well over a week to get that far.
Yeah, it took me the majority of my playtime to clear that room. Those fucking first humans that you come across that start shooting at
That's
you.
because you didn't take Burns' advice, did you? Play on easy, you just go and batter them.
Yep.
Get your wrench out, dead. All dead.
You're not
See ya.
supposed to. You're supposed to be a game about hiding and running.
If you're
and
not supposed to, you shouldn't let you kill him.
Just be better at it. If you're going to play in the big boy leagues,
be
you've
better
gotta
at it.
better
They're
at it.
like fucking. They got like sonar going on. It's
Also,
ridiculous.
The
It's
problem,
so
I have,
stupid.
the problem I have with that game is that it felt to me like it needed a load of people like me, clever people,
Yep.
to play it through and go, look, this bit needed tweaking slightly because there's a bit when you first see a dead guy and you
Yeah.
look through the window and you see the dead guy there and nothing happens. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you get a bit closer to him and then she goes, oh my God, there's a dead guy there, basically.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
just saw that dead guy before I went in the room and you should have reacted then. And there's a bit when you kill the guys, some people don't kill them, and they drop their gun. And you can pick up the ammo, you can't pick up the gun.
I'd say like
What's the point? That's just stupid.
if I was in a situation where I knew there was an alien on board the ship, I'd be going for those guns straight away.
even just the people, like you've seen how hostile the people are by that
Oh
point
yeah, go
easily.
for it. Excellent point. Yeah.
And then later on, there's the gun you're meant to pick. You can pick that gun up, obviously. It just feels like it's so close to being really good, and they just needed to tweak it slightly. So if anyone wants to hire me as like the professional game design consultant, not consultant. That's a bad thing.
Jeez.
But that is what
I'd
you're talking
leave.
about.
I'd leave this job entirely, so it wouldn't be any conflict, Dave.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
Close to being really good, did you say?
well, you'd
What do you
leave
think
us
the game
really in
is?
isolation. You'd leave us really in isolation.
Well, if,
Well,
the,
no,
mon-
that game's
if the money,
bad.
if the money was good enough, I'd
bet
do
you-
it. I'd
you'd update
leave-
your Twitter
I'd
bio
leave
then,
you
wouldn't
tomorrow,
you?
bros.
This is disgusting.
This is
I can't
outrageous.
believe the words are coming out of your mouth.
You'd be well gone from my life, bros.
Nah.
He wouldn't be friend of Bratters then, would he?
Yeah, but are you going to change that?
Friend of Sega.
Friend of Bratters, no.
Friend of Alien.
That's
We haven't spoken about GTA's first-person mode.
it looks
good.
fucking cool,
It looks
man.
good.
I'm suddenly excited about.
Yeah, but no one's going to
Meh.
want it.
Next
It's only
gen.
30 FPS.
Yeah,
Misery,
GTA
it was
misery.
always going to be 30, wasn't it?
Misery.
When they first announced first-person mode, I was like, be a nice little add-on. And I watched it,
Didn't it?
watched the trailer, I was like, oh no, actually now I can
Yeah.
see. It's just a murder sim.
It's like seeing. Oh well, yeah, I just love like the vehicles, like the just being able to see the kind of the dash on the motorcycle, and when you're inside the jets as well, you get to see it. Oh, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm
It
all
looked
about
a bit like Postal, but done by GTA.
that. Oh, well, you found it weird having that shift in view.
He
now
didn't
that
find
you're
it
killing
weird.
people.
He loved it.
Yeah, he sort of the table went a bit wonky.
It felt more real then, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I don't
when
know.
when you're viewing the world from
I
those eyes.
I don't get this. For some reason, Dave said this made it a
It
bit
does
more
though, because when you can
controversial.
see the character, it doesn't feel like it's
You feel like you're
doing
playing
it.
as it's kind of
I
what you were
can
talking
see-
about there with.
I still disagree.
That
It
disconnect.
is more
when-
controversial because you are the killer, whereas you are watching someone do the killing. There is a difference. Like first person is more immersive. It is more you.
Yeah, but you were
That's
dicking on
interesting
people in Call of
conversation.
Duty 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it feels a bit different in something like this.
He's
That-
still
that's
glad
in
to
that's
do
in
it.
a combat
He's
environment.
thinking it's not him that's going to have a problem. It's like the Daily Mail. He's thinking,
Yeah, and GTA 5 is brutal. Like I went back and played it again a few months ago, and I was like, "Gee, that is
You did
the
play-
way that the police chases are. When you first, if you like,
Shit, I've just remembered something else that's really cool about it. The DualShock 4 reacts to that, right? Doesn't it? The
Yeah,
Red and
dot
blue
going blue and
flash.
red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when the police chasing you, and some of the kind of radio
I can't
chatter
have
comes,
any of that stuff
comes through the speaker.
because I can't have that on in the bedroom.
No.
with Jacob
I
is
fucking
asleep.
love that controller.
North
man.
and epileptics.
Controller's so cool.
this is the thing. Like I look back and it's like, what's the street where there's all like the Hollywood stars on the
Hollywood
pavement?
Boulevard.
Is that what it's called? I don't know. You have the
think
stars,
so.
don't you? And I did like a shootout down. I just decided just shoot people just because. And the way that the sort of police wanted stars kick in and how the music comes in and everyone runs away and it almost feels like that's how it would feel if that was to actually happen. It's
No
really
music-
bad.
No music would kick in, Dave, in
No,
real
but
life.
the tone totally changes, the atmosphere totally changes, and it suddenly feels like you're doing something you shouldn't be
You
doing.
and Burns play this game like psychos.
No, but that's the
You
thing.
really
No, but
do.
that's
Yeah,
people will
you're
play it like
different
that.
side.
Everyone does that.
Burns, did you hear how Burns
never
plays?
punched an
though?
old woman.
Burns turns it on, drives out into the nowhere, finds someone, kills them in secret, and then drives off.
carries on with his day.
That's what he does.
All right, shall we move on to some questions that we've had sent in for this very podcast? Yeah? Excellent. I'm glad that this enthusiasm that you've hit me with has just really helped me keep going today. Let's see. Anime Dad asks, can I be on your podcast? I hate games too. That is outrageous, Anime
We
Dad.
love games.
We love games.
It's only Burns that doesn't. And sometimes Jim.
I think Burns likes them more than he wants to admit he does.
He likes being the cynical journalist, doesn't he? It makes him cool.
Loves a certain selection, which everyone, same for everyone.
He loves games, really.
Yeah, I mean, we probably wouldn't do a podcast if we hated games, really. It would get a bit...
I mean, we
They
certainly
wouldn't
wouldn't call it the
be.
Video Gamer podcast.
No,
No.
we wouldn't. That's a good point, yeah. So no, you can't be on our podcast with that attitude. Thank you very much. Puddle Drops. Have you noticed that Dave plays kids games and Chris plays old man games?
What? What are you doing of?
That's outrageous. I mean, I think that
What
probably
kids game?
What's
probably
an
comes
old
from the
man
fact
game?
that
You're
you
talking
play.
about GTA and COD?
What's an old man game?
Yeah,
Old man game, I imagine anything with strategy, they're assuming, is old man game.
really? What like?
I don't know what's an old
I
man
don't-
game.
I don't
I'm
really-
assuming like board games or something.
No.
What is an old man game?
They're just assuming
Is this like Europa
slow-
Universalis? 'Cause
slow
it's-
Mind you, does
and
this person
perceived as
consider
boring.
like
So,
a
yeah.
30-year-old an old man? Is
Is
that
this
why?
because I'm meant to be your dad
No, you're
and
not.
you're
No, you're not.
How
No,
have
when
you got
when did
this?
you make
whereas
this up?
I'm playing the kid games and I do play Skylanders.
Yeah, but
I give you that. I give you
Where
that.
did you
but
get you being Chris's dad from?
I'm older than him. I
Yeah,
call him son. I'm like, all right, son.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah, sometimes.
No, you never do.
I'm like, good one, son.
Did you just slap your knee?
No, it was his inner thigh.
Dave,
Oh God!
Don't know
Dave,
what's
you're
Yeah, but
going
that was meant to represent a pat on the back. I'm like,
You
nice
slap
one.
really hard on
Yeah.
someone's back if that's
Good.
the case.
Well,
but you're about 3 years older than him, aren't you?
Don't know, how old
You're
are
only
you?
4 years old.
And intellectually, Bratis
4
has
years
probably got an older head on him than you.
Is this a joke?
Boom! Oh,
Hank,
I've just lost that.
We
then.
had a very.
God damn it.
You did so well, and you just slammed.
I win.
Yeah.
Jenny M asks, it's getting scarily close now. What do you want Santa to get you for Christmas? Does anyone got anything in mind?
Neptune's Pride.
It's free, although I guess you could get the membership, which will allow you to create custom games of your own.
A friend that doesn't screw me over at the end of a game of Neptune's Pride.
Right. Well, Santa can't get you friends. No one can get you friends. You're unlikable.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm your father. That is terrible. You disrespect me.
Slap your thigh again, Dave.
Tom
That'd be
Murray,
a different form of
have you had any
That
kind
hurt.
of
That did actually.
Christmas thoughts yet?
Xbox One?
Well, as much as I want an Xbox One, realistically, like there's so many games that play on a
Yeah,
PS4.
but
Also,
that's-
if you
Santa.
said you haven't got much room in your,
I know
you're never going to fit an Xbox
I'd have
One
to do some kind of stacking system.
Get a PlayStation TV.
fit in anywhere.
I'm quite happy with my Netflix. I just
Yeah.
watch Netflix now.
Oh, man.
Everyone should watch The Shield, by the way.
I've dabbled in it.
If there's a question that someone should ask, like, what you watch on Netflix?
Yep.
The Shield. There you go.
Is it good?
It's good. It's very good.
Oh man, I've
Watch
got.
The Shield.
Friend of Bratters writes in and asks, "What should you watch on Netflix?" And it's The Shield.
You should get the US version of Netflix, and you should watch The West Wing like crazy.
Is that only on the US one?
Yeah.
The West Wing is one of the best TV
It's
programs ever.
fucking brilliant. Yeah.
But if you don't have it on UK Netflix, watch The Shield.
House of
Sell
Cards.
the Shield to
Yeah.
me because I dabbled in
Cops.
it and I've watched it
Basically,
in a world post The Wire.
there's cops, yeah, but it's based on focused on like this team that do like
like
gangs. They like target gangs basically, and they're like hard cops. They like storm into buildings.
the bald guy,
the
is
bald
the
guy,
leader of them.
Vic.
I've seen it. Vic.
Yeah.
That's
Are
it,
they
yeah.
dodgy cops though? Do they? Sort
There is a
break
lot of
their own
dodginess
laws?
going
Yeah.
on. Like from the opening episode, you think shit.
Something is a bit.
The first
amiss.
episode sets it up in a way that you think, well, this isn't
Well,
right.
that's that then.
What series
And,
does he join the Fantastic Four and become the Thing?
I
Though?
don't know when that happens,
Oh.
but
Shit,
he's
it's him,
much
isn't it? Yeah.
he's much better in this than he is in that.
Yeah,
and
that was such a big.
It's
such
just
a bad
like
film.
it's just if you like, it's kind of one of those things where everyone is bad, but also you can't help but like them still somehow. They're not like he's not a good person really, but he's got a side of him that is like he's got a family.
The likable rogue.
He tries to do well for his kids, even though he doesn't very often. That kind of thing. It's kind of like The Sopranos in that they're all bad people.
Oh yeah. It's weird that you end up.
But at the same
Everyone
time,
quite
they are
affectionate about
people that have families and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the Netflix section of the podcast.
Right. You've got The Wire though. I really struggled. I struggled to
on
get
Netflix,
into
though?
it. I'm not sure.
I think. It's on HBO. It's on Sky. Got on HBO
Oh, is it?
thing.
I haven't seen The Wire, but I sense that it's quite different
Yeah, it's a
tone.
very different tone. Maybe
This
I just
is
wanted
this
more
is
of
more
that.
like action,
Yeah,
and it's like I think it's easier to watch than The Wire would be.
yeah, fair enough.
All I want for Christmas
Mm-hmm.
is somebody to love me.
Oh, for fuck's
You
sake.
you do have this kind of tendency towards the end of a podcast. You get a little bit upset.
Because he's realised what he said
Attitude.
like the whole podcast.
He suddenly feels, I don't want to be like this anymore. Oh mate, I'm sorry.
Are there any Skylanders left for you to collect?
Oh, there's loads now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amiibo?
Huh?
Amiibo as well?
Well, they look a bit shite, don't they?
I don't know. I liked them when I saw them.
Yeah, but
what
you're
do they
easily
do?
pleased with certain things.
Toys?
You love like Smash Bros and Nintendo stuff and all that.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Better than
much the Amiibo concept, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas
It's
I'm
Nintendo toys.
like, yeah,
You've
yeah.
got a bar. You've got a bar that's been set by Skylanders.
But they look a bit crap. Like you look at the photos of them now compared to what they were supposed to be. They got like the
Some of
yellow
them-
piss sticks.
You took that name. When I told you that was what it was referred to as, you said...
Who referred to it as? Is that what we want to publicly talk about on this podcast?
No,
Right.
but I'm just saying...
Maybe we should cut that bit then, Brett.
Oh, it's this.
But I haven't said anything.
Yeah, but now it makes no sense.
You're a
whatsoever.
yellow piss stick.
Question I have
What
to
does that
ask
mean?
is how long are we going to get on lunch when we end this?
Well, you're the one that made this podcast
Yeah, it's
run
your
late,
fault,
Scammer,
Dave.
for fuck's sake.
You've just got here.
You just fucking swan in after attending an event that, frankly, you didn't even care about.
Here we go. I got
PlayStation
one.
TV
I got one.
Hasn't captured your heart and soul.
Your heart and soul.
You've just
That's a big
kind
bar.
of...
Look, see, I said I was looking for love this Christmas.
Oh, no.
Someone has sent a question. Is Dave Scammell for rent?
Thank you very much for listening to this week's podcast, and I'd like to thank my co-host Tom Orry,
Goodbye.
David Scammell,
Piss sticks.
and Brett Phipps.
Bye.
It's been a pleasure.